Whether you've given it much thought before or not, you were made to be a hero. Most of us have always had a sense that we were made for more, but a hero? That might be a bit of a stretch for a lot of us, but it really depends on how you define hero. After you establish that, it's a little easier to decide if it's a role or a title that we want to add to our already long or short list of identities. Am I right? If we're honest, we're not usually known as ones to embrace the role or the title of hero. Help others be a hero? Yep. Witnessed heroic acts and even been a recipient of some? Absolutely. Quickly name people that we deem worthy of the title hero? Without a doubt, yes. But not us. Well, unless you're among the minority who's comfortable walking around with the swagger that comes with wearing a cape, then whether that's physical or metaphorically. But for most of us, it's not a role or a title that we're comfortable with. Why is that? Even when we know that we've really stepped up big for someone in some type of way, do we just feel plain unworthy of the title? Hi, I'm Dina, and if you have not worked with me before or we haven't met, I am on a mission to restore faith and focus in our everyday lives and businesses, because I believe without restoring our faith, what it is that we truly believe, how on earth can we act it out in our everyday lives and have any kind of focus? So we're going to continue our discussion with you're a hero. So we're not always comfortable hanging on to, that title or that role of hero. Maybe that's because stepping into the role of hero often means that we're standing in the gap on behalf of someone else. And that sometimes can be a responsibility that we just don't want to knowingly take on. So, yeah, I'm scared to take on that role of hero. And maybe you are too. When it comes to our purpose, no matter how many cloudy or clear days that we walk it out, we know that it's bigger than us. We know that our purpose is ultimately for the benefit of others. And when it comes to being responsible in any way, shape, or form for others, oh, yeah, that's scary. If you're one who believes, like me, that God has assigned you just who those others are, then you also know how hard the forces of anything against God are going to be against you too. And this, my friends, is probably exactly why we're scared to step in or step up as someone's or anyone's hero. And maybe you're familiar with these. The most common tactics purpose haters, yeah, that's what I'm going to call them, those that are against anything that God has assigned you, anything that stands in the way of you and your purpose. So the most common tactics purpose haters will use to thwart you from pursuing your purpose are doubt. And this is any and everything that can get you to wonder about or wander away instead of walk like a warrior is an attack on your purpose. Tactic number 2 is discouragement. Anything that has you dwelling on your setback more than planning your epic comeback is an attack on your purpose. Number 3, delay. Delay is that when you're convinced, or anyone who convinces you that waiting until things are better, things are ready, things are perfect, right? These sound familiar? When you know the assignment that you've been given, that's an attack on your purpose. And friends, when when you really hang up on even delay, it's only going to have you circling back to those other two purpose hater tactics, which is doubt and discouragement. Again, the enemies of God are enemies of you too. And those enemies will do whatever they can to make you scared to live your purpose. And trust me when I say, those tactics will go way beyond doubt, discouragement, and delay. But no worries. I've got news for you. And it's news that is going to take you from the hurt, from what the scary what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if they say this? What if I feel that? You're going to exchange that what if for empowering even ifs. And you're going to do it by exchanging the word scared for the word sacred. Yeah. It's time to redirect your focus from fear and being scared and restore it to reflect the fact that God will do everything He can to help you see that you're His, created on purpose and for purpose. And when you're His, it means that you're sacred. Now, I want to hang here for a second because there's something really cool about this word, sacred. This word, sacred, in the original Greek text is the word hieros, and it means consecrated to God. Now, I don't know about you, but does that word hieros sound and look a lot like the word heroes? So if heroes, the Greek word here, hieros, means consecrated to God, let's take it a step further and say, okay, well, what does consecrated mean? Now, when you look up or you Google Merriam-Webster's definition of consecrated, they give you a lot of theological and spiritual definitions, but this one is called an informal definition, and it's by far my favorite. It means to devote to a purpose with or as if with deep solemnity or dedication. Solemnity. That's a hard word. It's basically, I would rather it be solemnly. To devote to a purpose with or as if with deep, we'll say solemnly, or dedication. Now, doesn't that sound like what God has in mind when He thinks and plans for us? To devote to a purpose with or as if with deep, solemnly, or dedication. So even if you feel scared, take a moment to remember that you are sacred, and then proceed with the expectation of the one who is devoted to go with you, strengthen you, and ultimately works things out for your good. Now, little caveat here. That is only if you believe Him, if you trust Him, if you follow where He directs. See, there's a lot of stuff out there that give us formulas. And if you do this, this will happen. Everything has a cause and effect. Everything, decisions have consequences, good and bad. We want, perfect outcomes. We want, we want a plan in perfection without keeping in mind our actual reality, right? So I want you to remember this. You're not scared. You're sacred. How is planning going to look differently through that lens? I even have a couple reminders for you. Maybe you want to jot these down. Deuteronomy 31:6 says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you or forsake you." Isaiah 41:10 says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Psalm 56:11 says, "In God I trust, and I'm not afraid. What can man do to me?" And finally, Romans 8:27 and 28. "And he who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit." Remember, the Spirit lives in us, because the Spirit intercedes for God's people in accordance with the will of God. There's so much to unpack in that verse, and we can come back to that at another time. But verse 28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Remember, all of that only works if you believe in him, you trust him, and you follow where he directs. We are not victims who are scared, but we are victors who are sacred, redeemed, and assigned to help others. We were made to be heroes. Let's not become like our world, who's obsessed with outcomes and spending so much time and energy trying to predict them, who love to point fingers when those outcomes become unexpected. Friend, our next breath is unexpected. There are no guarantees on how our life is going to go. For those of us who believe, we know how this all ends. So our job is to fill a need when we see it, offer a helping hand when and where we can, work to the best of our ability, be kind, and ultimately have a life that points to the one who created us. In a culture that will vilify you for being on the wrong side of a narrative anyway, wouldn't it make sense to seek the truth for yourself and stand by it? That would be heroic, wouldn't it? Listen, life is short. Live in a way that you create a legacy that will outlive you. Be the hero that you were meant to be. God knows that that's exactly what he put you here for, in this time, in this place, with the time and the method that you've been given. I'm inspired to be a hero like all the ones that are around me, right there with you. Thanks for watching. And if you like this video and you want to see more, please go ahead and subscribe. If you want to contact me directly, you can email me at dina@dinafarrell.com. Thanks.